Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the grind, where is getting back to basics, right? I see the successful flippers, and we have several clients that are extremely busy. They have 3, 4 deals in a given month. And I mean, that's over 20, 30 deals that they do in a year. And it's ridiculous how someone can still find flips, but they're being creative. It's not just about the flip. It's understanding what is needed locally in the market, like you were saying earlier in regards to ADUs. Well, if you're just looking for a fix and flip in a BC area like maybe Tampa or Orlando, you're not going to find any. But if you're looking to add value by adding an ADU, now you're generating your own type of business. So I like to think of people that are creative like that as those. I play poker, for example, right? I like to play poker. And sometimes you don't get any cards. Well, you got to get out there and you got to make your own luck. And same in this business. You got to get out there and create your own business opportunities by being creative and looking at value-added opportunities.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Luis Daniel Roque, is a fund manager, entrepreneur, and private lender focusing on funding smart, profitable deals that protect capital and create real upside. He works with investors and operators across residential construction and hospitality projects, blending disciplined underwriting with long-term vision. You can find him online at hiscapitalgroup.com. Luis, thanks for taking the time today. I always like to start off really at the top. And you're involved in a number of different segments of the real estate space. I'd like to dive into the lending portion of real estate. Of course, when we talk about real estate lending in particular, you could underwrite the deals, you could find the right deal, but it stops and ends with the lender. I know this as a single family, a realtor, and then working with investors. But of course, at any scale, lending is going to be where the deals start and end. How did you get into the lending space?
Yeah, so my background comes from lending. I started at a very early age at Bank of America. I was a BP of the lending division there, and I stayed there for quite some time. I did great. Then, of course, I joined the current company that I'm with. I became a partner, and we grew this into a development firm. And then we also opened up our private lending arm in 2013. So I do have a background in lending. That's really what I started very early age. And then, of course, my background is in finance. So, yeah.
Now, when we talk about private lending, this spans a number of different asset classes. I think a lot of people are familiar with, hard money loans. Is that the segment that you're lending in, or are you looking at another segment of real estate?
Yeah, see, and we are a private lender, but we also consider ourselves the hybrid of hard money and private lending. A private lender would be somebody that is probably in your neighborhood and is able to underwrite the deal within a day or so, just walk by the property and give you the money in 24 hours, 48. We are quite fast, but not that fast, because we do business in most of the country. And a lot of our capital, in order to be able to turn it and deploy capital, we have to be able to sell it in the secondary market. So what I mean by this is we have quick underwriting. We can deploy capital fast, we are looking at mitigating factors to help you.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Do the deals, and we are extremely creative, but we're not going to be your private lender that's going to give you the money just by looking at the property tomorrow and give you the money in 48 hours. So it's a balancing between hard money and private money.
It's a collaborative approach. I think for my vantage point, it's better to have a little bit of skin in the game like that, because if you're not invested in it yourself, I know lots of folks who don't want to ever have to deal with the portion of the business of what happens if we have to overtake this property. At the end of the day, the lender always has to think about, well, if we have to take this over, can we do it ourselves?
Yeah, and we are not a lender that is looking to foreclose. We don't want to foreclose. We want our borrowers to be successful. We want them to make money. That's why one of the matrices that we look at is profitability, right, on any given deal. But we analyze deals, we give a lot of recommendations, and we want them to make money. We don't want to take over the deal.
Now, when we talk specifically about some of the segments of real estate that people are getting involved in right now, I was talking to you before the show about ADUs in California. There seems to be more ADU development in California than anywhere else in the world. But we're also seeing people get into a number of different asset classes outside of single family fix and flip or buy and hold. What are some of the segments that you're seeing gaining momentum?
Yeah, the definitely creativeness is the play right now. We are a developer as well. We develop properties. As I mentioned, we have a strategy in our fund where we deploy some of our capital by lending it, but then we also have our own projects. One of the things we've seen to tackle the affordability crisis in the United States is building modular homes. And throughout the East Coast, we've been buying land, we put the services in place, and we've been placing modular homes, which are not a lot of people are familiar with modular homes. There's quite a difference between a manufactured home and a modular home, and I think that's kind of picking up in the industry.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. The modular thing is quite interesting because people think, of, maybe a manufactured or a mobile home when they hear this word modular. But I've been to a modular home factory, if you will, where they put together these modular homes, and it is a stick built home from the ground up, effectively just off site, right? And so in many cases, even a higher build quality, because you're not dealing with the conditions, outdoors that would come with, putting up a stick built home on site.
Totally. I mean, most of the requirements that the cities and municipalities have for these homes are outperformed by modular homes. So you get better earthquake resistance, wind resistance, fire resistance. When it comes to comparing apples to apples, a modular home is a much better build. It's just that there is a problem in regards to getting those approved with some cities. I believe now cities are open to hear more about these requirements and being able to work with this product because it does provide an avenue for affordability. So
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I mean, especially I'm from the East Coast originally, and so I know exactly, how much of a need that is. Now, if you take, these modular homes and you put them in some of these areas, I've seen even some modular homes that are almost indistinguishable from on-site stick-built homes. Uh, can it provide a substantial cost reduction versus ground up construction in those areas? Because I know, of course, the land is still going to be expensive. Is modular going to provide them some level of cost reduction in those higher priced areas?
yes, I mean, for example, we're building quite a few near Orlando, between the corridor of Orlando and Tampa.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Our cost for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot home, single family home with a 2-car garage, the driveway, grading the lot, clearing it, of course, and installing the home is going to be about $210,000 max, including everything as a turnkey solution, except for the land. Of course, the land is the variable cost. But if you look at that, and that includes a driveway, includes a 2-car garage, really our cost is roughly around $135 a square foot. Those are incredible prices. You can get those in a ground of construction stick built.
Now, I would like to pivot a bit here and ask you specifically about, working with investors, across the country who are getting into some of these spaces. I've seen more and more people get into modular homes, get into ADUs, get into self-storage, all different, what I would call, creative land deals, really specifically, where, you have some existing land. You're either looking at developing it, or adding another structure on there. And in many cases, these are folks that are coming from another asset class. Like they may have done or segment of real estate. They may have done fix and flip, or they may have done, short-term rentals. And now they're moving into some of these other spaces. When you're looking at funding deals for someone who's newer in, let's say, the modular space, or someone who's newer in really any segment of the real estate space, are there any factors that would guide your decision making as a lender, whether that's prior experience or, are they a contractor themselves, that type of thing?
Yeah, we're always looking at compensating factors in order to make the deal make sense, right? I would like to think that we are the lender that says, yes, but I don't want to say no. I want to say, yes, I could do it, but I may have to add these caveats or conditions in order to make it work. And for modular home, I don't see a lot of lenders being willing to work with modular homes because it's new in the industry. Well, we are one of the few lenders that are actually working with borrowers working on these modular homes. We do require experience, at least 2 deals in experience for some fix and flip or grounded construction. So they have to know how to analyze an investment, right? But when it comes to any regular fix and flip, we work with brand new investors that have never done a deal. So, but we're always looking at mitigating factors, whether they have some liquidity, maybe they have some experience as a foreman for a large construction company. Life experience and deal experience is taken into consideration in order for us to mitigate the risk.
I'd like to ask you specifically about those folks who are getting into, let's just say, the fix and flip space. I know that things are changing right now. Rates are coming down. But for the last couple of years, it's been somewhat challenging to be a flipper, especially if you're competing with, corporate builders who are putting up subdivisions in so many parts of Texas and so many parts of Florida and surrounding states. Do you have any feedback or advice for folks who are newer flippers and are looking at getting into the game right now?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the grind, where is getting back to basics, right? I see the successful flippers, and we have several clients that are extremely busy. They have 3-4 deals in a given month. And I mean, that's over 20-30 deals that they do in a year. And it's ridiculous how someone can still find flips, but they're being creative. It's not just about the flip. It's understanding what is needed locally in the market. Like you were saying earlier in regards to ADUs. Well, if you're just looking for a fix and flip in a BC area, like maybe Tampa or Orlando, you're not going to find any. But if you're looking to add value by adding an ADU, now you're generating your own type of business. So I like to think of people that are creative like that as those. I play poker, for example, right? I like to play poker. And sometimes you don't get any cards. Well, you got to get out there and you got to make your own luck. And same in this business. You got to get out there and create your own business opportunities by being creative and looking at value added opportunities.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Now, when we talk about flipping in California, I think this is something that a lot of people may sometimes shy away from just because of the higher price points. But on the flip side of that, you have the higher exits as well. If folks are flipping in California, can they, at least right now, bank on a quick turnaround on the sell side, or are these deals potentially sitting on market for some time?
Yeah, you definitely have to take some carrying costs into consideration when it comes to that, because I see some properties taking time, especially on the higher end segments of the market. The reality, it really comes down to affordability. Right now, we're at a part of the market where rates should be coming down, but then we also see a lot of creative finance coming into the marketplace. That is a factor. I think as rates continue to drop and more creative finance comes into the market, then that will absorb the inventory that's there, especially for the higher end markets. It'll help to move those properties. But if you have never done a single high end deal in your life and you're looking to get into it, you got to be very careful because those carry costs can really absorb you.
One of the things that I've heard, and I think it's a great thing for any newer investor or even an established investor who's doing something that's new to them, is to partner with someone who is experienced, whether that is, a contractor or someone who's got geographic knowledge if you're investing in a new area. What would you say to those folks who may be thinking, okay, well, this is my first flip and I'm just going to go out about it completely by myself?
Yeah, a lot of people like to cut corners and save costs by saying, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to lease the property myself and I'm going to do the work and I'm going to subcontract to everybody else. And then you end up doing none of that. I've seen a lot of great acquisitions where people that are brand new buy the right deal at the right price with the right margins, but then they destroy the deal because of bad property management, bad construction management. And then they try to sell the deal themselves. And instead of moving it quickly with a local expert, they end up carrying it longer and eating up all the profits. So my recommendation is, if it's your first deal, work with experts, get the experience, understand why they do what they do, and get those first wins under your belt so that you could do the next ones on your own.
I've also heard that, people have to potentially be prepared, for a plan B. Hey, if this doesn't sell, are we prepared to rent this out? Of course, you don't want to go in thinking it's not going to succeed, but it's happened enough times over the last handful of years where, not with just, one group of investors, with investors across the board, where you do potentially have to look at, hey, if we have to hold this, are we comfortable with that?
Right. And that's one of the things I always recommend, looking at deals with a multi-strategy view, because at a worst case scenario, like you said, if I can't sell it, and a lot of people were stuck into that situation last year, rates weren't coming down. So people had to keep them, and we saw an increase of Airbnb rentals, right? So yeah, definitely look at options and look at what would it look like if you had to keep the property.
I do want to ask you specifically about looking at some of these deals in other markets outside of the majors. I've seen people looking at deals, in Arkansas, in Alabama. I've seen people looking at deals. I just spoke with a woman earlier today, in Ohio. When you're looking at some of these other markets with a lower, price point to entry, are there factors that come into play that may actually increase risk potentially in those circumstances?
Definitely. I mean, and I'm telling you from experience, we've been at this for quite some time. A while ago, we bought some properties, a portfolio of 20 properties in Montgomery, Alabama. And they were extremely cheap. I think we ended up paying like $25,000 a door. And it was a win, right? I mean, we look at comps, we look at the repairs, but then when it comes to the property management, nobody wants to go out there and collect the rents. So we got stuck with some properties that we couldn't rent, and even if we rented them, we didn't have anybody that was going to be the property manager to get us some cash flow. So we ended up selling them at a discount. So those are the little things that if you don't understand the local markets and how the dynamics happen, then you're going to get in trouble. So it's always best to work with experts, especially for the first couple deals, until you become that expert that now you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical, right? Because if you're, especially when you talk about property management, not just, you know, potentially replacing a property manager if you find a good one to come in, but also too, that act of just replacing, meaning that the turnover can throw off residents, and so things could take some time. Even if you say, hey, we found the perfect property manager to put in here, now you've got to deal with a couple of months where things might not run as smoothly. We are coming up on time here, though, Luis. Any new projects that you're working on? And then as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to your team?
Yeah, so we are a private lender. We're looking to expand and work in new markets. We just opened up, for example, the state of Hawaii, and we're lending in Hawaii as well. So we are creative, and more importantly, we are always looking to find ways to make your deal happen and try to say yes, but right. That's our core. And if you want to get into modular homes and learn how to get through the process, just reach out to us and we'll walk you through it. We're starting to work with a lot of developers looking into modular homes in the state of Florida, but we're expanding to the rest of the East Coast first. And then from then, it could go into the rest of the United States.
Luis, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you, Dylan. We'll talk in a bit.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.